If you're a midlifer living what looks like a successful life on paper, but you feel unfulfilled on the inside and you can't quite put your finger on why, I'm going to show you the 3 thinking traps that are probably keeping you there. The strange thing about this situation is that nothing's gone dramatically wrong, and that's what makes it so hard to explain. It's not a midlife crisis. You're not rushing out to buy a sports car or trade your partner in for a younger model. You just can't figure out why you're not happy. The 3rd trap has some genuinely surprising research, which I'll come on to, but we're going to start with the 1st trap, which is probably the one that has the tightest grip on you. The first is the sunk cost fallacy. It's this idea that we've put so much into a career or a relationship or a home or a location that we've got to stick it out until we get some kind of return on that investment. The thing is, if you're feeling that, if the life you've built clearly isn't providing you with a sense of fulfillment, you've got to let that go. But the obvious thing is, well, I need to make some big changes in my life. And the prospect of blowing it all up just feels too scary. There are people who are depending on you. You've got responsibilities and commitments. So you can't just walk out of what is maybe a life you've built over the course of 20 or 30 years. So if blowing it all up isn't an option, the other thing that comes to mind is, I guess I just need to stick it out, grind through this until retirement, and then it will all be worth it. But the problem with that is, who wants to be stuck in a place where they feel miserable for the next 10 or 15 years, just grinding through this? That's not a very fulfilling place to be either. So you have this dilemma where the only option seems to be blow it up or suck it up, which isn't much of a choice. But there is a 3rd option, and I'll come on to talk about that at the end. There is a way you can break yourself out of this sense of being stuck without walking away from everything that you've built. So let's move on to the 2nd trap, and this one applies particularly to overachievers, people that have a track record of success, that have kept building, hitting all the milestones, all the achievements that are supposed to provide you with the life that feels really good. The only problem is, you're achieving all of these things, everything you were told would lead to a successful life, but you don't have that sense of fulfillment. This is the arrival fallacy. So we're thinking when we hit some big milestone, everything will be fine. When we get that big promotion or pay rise or bonus, or when we move to a big house, or when the kids leave home, everything will be fine. Problem is, we're laboring under the belief that when we hit some specific goal, we'll achieve lasting happiness. And the corporate world has got really good at setting up a system which creates that belief. So those dopamine hits that we get from all of these different milestones, the big promotion, the pay rise, the perks that go with it, or the lifestyle it affords in terms of the house, the car, the holidays, we keep thinking, well, the next one is going to be it. Then I'll feel like I've arrived. But that sense of fulfillment just doesn't come. And the reason for that is that we're looking for fulfillment in the wrong places. We're thinking it will come from all of these achievements, all of these trophies. And yes, we get a little high, but it just doesn't last. If you think about the moments when you have felt most alive, it's almost certainly when you've been with the people that matter most to you, probably having some kind of shared experience. Now, it might be on holiday, or it could just as easily be round the dinner table at home. These are the moments where we feel most connected. And there's something you can do to put this idea to the test. Now, I hope you're never in this situation, but just imagine you were told you only had a year left to live. What would you do with that time, particularly the first month or so? You would probably clear your diary of a whole load of work stuff, and you would focus on spending time with the people that matter most to you. And you would cherish every moment. You'd want to create memories, and every time you've got an opportunity to spend time with them would be really precious. But actually, if you look at how much time you're spending with those people now compared to how much time and effort you're putting into achieving the next thing, we've probably got things back to front. Spending our time looking ahead at the next thing is the arrival fallacy in action, when actually what we've got, what we need for that sense of fulfillment, is right in front of us. It's not about when I achieve this next thing, everything will be okay. Everything's pretty good now if you look around at what you've got. And now the third one. This one is the most subtle, but it's the one that we say out loud most often, and it's the most dangerous. It's, I'm fine. The I'm fine fallacy is when we tell ourselves, everything's fine. I'm okay, it's all good. I'm just going to stay right here. And that's what's keeping us stuck. But inside, we're thinking, is this it? There must be more to life than this. But we keep telling ourselves, I'm fine. But deep down, you know something needs to change. You can feel it. But we just keep pushing those feelings down because acknowledging it feels too scary. So we just say, I'm fine, and we keep going. There's a body of research on the consequences of suppressing this and the impact it has on us, both physically and mentally. Now, physically, you may have heard of the book, The Body Keeps the Score. Great book. That focuses on trauma. We're not talking about that here, but if you're suppressing these feelings constantly, that starts to have some physical effects. A friend of mine said to me a while ago, the body will send you increasingly serious signals until you pay attention. And it's true. Those little niggles, the disrupted sleep, other things that we kind of choose to ignore will eventually manifest themselves in more serious ways, either burnout or some kind of serious illness or condition. Then there's the mental load of constantly wearing this mask, of telling everyone that I'm fine. And the research on this calls it expressive suppression. It's the mental load of having to maintain that facade. And it starts to have an effect on our memory, our ability to think clearly, make decisions, and our relationships with other people. If you think about it, if you keep telling everyone you're fine, particularly the people that are most important to you, they'll just carry on with their day-to-day lives, when actually they're the people that are most able to support you. But over time, you're becoming more detached and more distant from them because you're struggling with something, but not giving them the opportunity to provide the support that they're able to. So suppressing it means you have less support, less connection, poorer relationships, and eventually the likelihood is this is going to turn into a crisis. So if you're hearing yourself saying, I'm fine, but you're not feeling that on the inside, just think about that for a moment. You know you've got to do something about it. And if you confide in someone really close to you, it will feel like a weight is being lifted. If you recognize any of these three fallacies, I promise that there's another way of dealing with this, not blowing it up or sucking it up. This is something I came to after walking out on a 25-year corporate career, having hit quite a low point and not knowing what I was going to do next. I did a lot of reading, researching, learning, and the realization I had is I could use what I'd been doing at work in my marketing and branding career and apply it to my own life. I designed my way out of this situation. So in my marketing and branding career, I'd been using design thinking principles for years. And the beauty about design thinking is one of the things at its core is rather than make any big bets straight away, you test things, you prototype them, you run some small experiments and see what works. So if your career is getting you down, rather than blowing it all up, walking out of a job, you run a small experiment. You try something to see if it gives you that sense of fulfillment that you're looking for, and you build on that. You can build your way forward with these tests and experiments rather than making some big irreversible decision like walking out of a job when you don't have a clear plan as to what you want to do next. So you're not having a midlife crisis. You have a design problem, and design problems can be solved bit by bit with intention, building your way forward, learning as you go. I hope understanding these three fallacies has shown you that you can break out of them. You start from where you are and you iterate. You build your way forward, crafting a new life with intention instead of blowing it all up or staying stuck. And if you want to go deeper on how to redesign your midlife, this next video will tell you more about that. I post new videos weekly on some aspect of redesigning your midlife, so subscribe if you want to stay up to date. Thanks for watching.